Thank you for choosing to watch Charlie Goes to Vegas, or clicking on this link that a friend sent you. Maybe a strained friendship. Maybe this link is your deciding factor on whether to keep talking to this person. Whatever your reason for watching, I thank you for it. Charlie Goes to Vegas is the minimalist guide to the most excessive city in the world. The way I break this down for people is because of poverty, for lack of a better term. I've sort of sculpted myself into a minimalist, which just means I don't really go in for extravagant things or like unnecessary luxury purchases, stuff like that. You know, I don't have a favorite kind of milk. That might be that some people have told me that's a little extreme. Like, you don't even go 2%. No, milk is milk. Almond milk is not almond milk. Well, it is, but it's not. I just drink regular milk. I drink black coffee. Reason is I don't want to be a high maintenance person, because I think minimalists are not high maintenance, which is a quality that I respect in people. So also, I just don't put cream in coffee, because on a molecular level it makes no fucking sense. Because if you add milk to coffee, you get warm milk, which is the opposite of coffee in every way. It does the opposite thing. It tastes. It's. Stop putting shit in coffee is what I'm saying. So with this show, I'm looking for the least Vegas things to do in Las Vegas, because Las Vegas is just every other city with a desperate need for attention. Like, Las Vegas is just it's not the biggest city I've ever lived in, but it's the city I've lived in that does things the biggest. Like, everything in if marijuana is legal here, and you can find a THC count of like 48% in a joint for $11, which if you know weed, you know that is a real Vegas way to go about doing it. So with that in mind, what I did this week is I toured a Bong factory in downtown Las Vegas. This is Jerome Baker Designs, if you want to look them up online. Jerome Baker is the professional name used by artist Jason Harris, who I met this week at the Dream Factory on Main Street in the downtown arts district of Las Vegas. Jason Harris said he used the name Jerome Baker professionally because Jerome is Jerry Garcia's full first name, and Baker. If you need me to explain bake, then the rest of this episode is probably not for you. Just go ahead and watch something else. The rest of this is just going to confuse you. But Jerome Baker Designs is what I toured today. I saw more bongs in one place than I'd ever seen in my life before, which, if you know me, that means something. I saw bongs being made. I saw glass blowing happening. Like, seeing glass blowing live has changed the way I look at glass blowing, because prior to 2014, when marijuana came along, I didn't know much about. Well, that's not when marijuana came along. That's when it was legalized, and that's when I started getting into the ornamental aspect of marijuana. Because before it was legal, anyone watching this 30 or older, as you remember, bongs were a luxury item. That was not the minimalist way to smoke weed. So I didn't really get into what bongs were about or how they were used until around 2014. So, and then most days since then. So to see that many bongs in one place was cool. There were gigantic ones. There were commissioned portrait bongs, like 3D sculpted out of glass portraits of people made into a bong, and that was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. The really cool thing about this place, though, and about Jason Harris, is he is a frequent collaborator with Chong, who there's a lot of reasons why he's one of my heroes. One is the obvious reason. He was able to have a career in comedy and still be high every day. How do you not be my hero if you're able to do that? But more importantly, in 2003, Chong went to jail for almost a year because he was targeted by a sting operation by the FBI called Operation Pipe Dreams. You can Google it for the specific information if you want. But this was an FBI sting operation that targeted manufacturers of bongs and pipes, anything glass, anything specifically for the use of marijuana, even though a few years back, if you go into a head shop, you'd see them labeled as tobacco bongs, and it was confusing for some people, and it still is, I guess, for everybody. But the reason why Tommy Chong was targeted is because the FBI knew that they could get his son, Paris Chong, on the hook, and they would need Tommy Chong to go in his place. And Tommy Chong was a symbol not only of marijuana, but of counterculture in general for the previous 30 or 40 years. He was known for mocking authority, and they wanted him to be the poster boy of the 2003 draconian marijuana laws. Forcibly, if possible. I think that was just a little sadistic twist. But Tommy Chong stepped up. He went to jail so his son wouldn't have to. And he wrote a really great book about it. It's called The I, Chong. I'm sure you can find it online. It's a great book. And the place where I went today, Jerome Baker Designs, which is, the building is located, is called the Dream Factory. If you're looking for it on foot, there's some cool graffiti out front. That's the building. He's a frequent collaborator of Tommy Chong, and he is doing the custom-made line of Chong bongs, which I was able to see before anyone else saw, which was really awesome. And I mean, just like Tommy Chong is all over the place. It was a great tour, and I just saw like a lot of awesome shit. So the tour is not something I can recommend because that's not something they do for everybody. It was through a series of comedians that I was able to connect with Jason Harris and get a tour of the facility. So that's not something they do for everybody, but they still have a shop that is open to the public. You can go by when they're open. You can call them to make an appointment. There are like one-of-a-kind bongs that I've never seen anything like them anywhere that you can buy. They got them in every price range, every size. Every price range and every size is something you see a lot in Vegas, I'm noticing. I'm talking literally size. So definitely hit up Jerome Baker Designs for your next ornamental showcase bong conversation piece for use with tobacco only. Wink, wink, wink. So what I'm going to do now, this is something I do on the show. I apply the Sin City scale to whatever I'm talking about. The reason I do this is Las Vegas calls itself Sin City, and I hold cities accountable for their nicknames. Chicago is called the Windy City, and last time I was in Chicago, it was windy as shit. So I was standing in front of Wrigley Field, and I said, okay, Chicago, touche. You know, like I hold cities accountable. So the Sin City scale, I take the 7 deadly sins and apply them to whatever it is that I'm reviewing. So we're going to go ahead and begin with gluttony. I'm gonna give gluttony the point because I know that bongs are not responsible for overeating, but they are kind of enabling. You know, like I could use a pipe or a one-hitter all day and not get the munchies, but there's just something about gravity and physics working together that just shoots the weed straight down your gullet, and you get the munchies for the first time in like 5 years. So gluttony, just by association, gets the point. Lust, it gets the point. Not all lust is sexual, guys. I can look at something and feel an appreciation for it that is not sexual but still technically lust. So it's getting the point for lust. It's also getting the point for envy, by the way, because you know, I like my job. I like being a comedian. I like doing this show. But it wasn't until I saw people who make bongs for a living that I truly felt career envy. So until I'm able to live as a humble bong maker, I will always live in envy of the gentleman I met today. So it gets the point for envy. Wrath absolutely does not get the point. There was no wrath to be seen. These were people who were enjoying their work, who were awesome at it. They found a way to make that their living. And, like what they say on the farm, if you love what you do, you don't work a day in your life. That's absolutely true in the place where I was today. So there was no wrath to be seen. Sloth, no, absolutely does not get the point. Because, a lot of work goes into a bong. A lot of very detailed craftsmanship, more than I thought, because a lot of people, if you don't smoke weed, what you know of as bongs are like a Kenny action figure hollowed out with a rubber tube stuck in it and a bowl up front, and it's a South Park bong. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the pre-legalization embarrassing bongs of the past. I'm talking about like glass-blown craftsmanship that was genuinely impressive. So Sloth, absolutely not. The level of detail that goes into every single one is awe-inspiring. Anyone who thinks pot makes you lazy, I found evidence to the contrary today. I could make that strong of a case for myself, somewhat of a case, but not that strong, but I could make a very strong case for these guys. So no points for Sloth. Vanity. This is a tough one. They have a warehouse attached to the workshop, and I was able to look at some of the commissioned pieces. And as a minimalist, I have to give them the point for vanity, because, really, to smoke weed, you need a soda can and a pen. I've always been more of a MacGyver pot smoker than I was a lifestyle smoker. Even though I smoke every day, I still use a dugout and a one hitter. Which if you're younger than me, you probably don't know what that is. It's like a flask for potheads. It's weed, it's portability. That's usually what I'm good with. That's my baseline. I don't. Bongs are kind of a showy thing for me, even though I respect the work that goes into making them, and I as an art lover, I love the way they look. But it is a lot of effort that is not really necessary to get the weed smoking job done. So vanity, it gets the point. Greed, it does not get the point. And it's very difficult to not get a point for greed in this city at all. Las Vegas is a very greedy city in general. It is fueled by greed, and the city is able to do some great things with the money that greed generates. So I'm not judging anyone for it, but not giving it the point for greed. Some of the bongs were very expensive, and more than I would ever pay for a bong personally. But I don't think it's greed. I think if a $12,000 bong has that price tag, I can safely say that I think $12,000 worth of work went into it. It's probably 8 feet tall, and it's part hot tub. And if I had $12,000 to pay for that, I might have to betray my principles just a little bit and spring for a bong koozie, because that would be awesome. Which is neither here nor there. But Jerome Baker Designs, look them up on the internet, call them to see if you can get an appointment to at least check out the shop the next time you need to buy a bong, because they tip over, they break. I get it. They have to be replaced. So go to them for your next one if you want a really awesome one that will be devastating if you ever break it. So definitely look them up. If you like Charlie Goes to Vegas, thank you very much for watching this one. I've not decided if this episode is going to have any music in it or not. Last time we tried smooth jazz, which did not work for obvious reasons. So maybe I'll throw some music in this one. But if you have music that you would like to put on the show, hit me up and send me at least a 10-minute hook. It could be guitar, it could be synthesizer, it could be piano, whatever it is you do. Send me some instrumentals, and I will put them on the show if I like them. So one of those might have been on this episode the whole time. So we're just gonna play with time a little bit and say I enjoyed that very much. And thank you once again to Blast Pop Media for producing the show, keeping this on track. But click the banner to find the channel that this show is on. There should be at least the episodes that I've already done. Hopefully many more by now, by the time you've gotten around to this one. There should be comedy videos on there too. But thank you very much for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye.